Well, hello there, everybody. 'Tis I, Dave Murray, the big guy at Mayniax Branding, and today, before we get started, I wanted to show you something I thought was kind of funny. This I had to buy for a birthday. I don't know if the lights are going to let you see it well. I think they are. I would call that mean mug Dr. Barbie. She looks angry. I don't know. Anyway, that struck me funny. Now, obviously, I'm not the target demo for Barbie. I'm more a Transformers kind of guy. So, for today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing and about 3 things that you use when you're trying to figure out who exactly to market to. Those 3 things being Geographics, Demographics, and Psychographics. What? You've never heard of Psychographics? That's okay. That's what I'm here for. So hey, let's talk about marketing with those 3 things, which incidentally are going to be really tough to fit on a thumbnail. Let's get cracking. Okay, the first aspect here of the marketing things that we're talking about is geographics. Now, geographics are pretty easy to figure out. It's just basically the size of the area that you want to market to. It can be as big or as small as you want it to be. It's great. So some of the good things about geographics, some of the pros are, one, it's very easy to figure out how to do it on social media and other marketing platforms. It's real easy to type in what city you're in or what region you want to market to, that kind of thing. And like I said before, another pro is you can go to as big or as small an area as you want. One of the cons of geographics, the major con, is that it's a shotgun approach. You're not really targeting anybody specifically with geographics. It doesn't mean it's useless. So I'm going to talk in this video about how they can all work together, or how they do kind of play off each other. Geographics, though, if let's say that's the only thing you're interested in trying to use for your brand, the best kind of businesses to use just geographics are probably real estate agents, people who work in insurance, people who work in banking, people who do plumbing, people that can make a good living in one region because there's just a ton of people that are going to eventually need their services, even if they don't need them now. So that first part there, folks, that was geographics. Let's get on to the next one. So the next one we're going to discuss, and probably the one that you've all heard of the most, would be demographics. Demographics pros are pretty simple. If you think you've got it dialed in, you're marketing to an age range, to a gender, to an income level, all those kinds of things are demographics. It's also, another pro is that you can use it fairly easily across marketing platforms online, so that's real nice. And a con, however, is that when it comes to demographics, people age out, people income level out, people's interests change. Basically, with demographics, it's a moving target. For instance, about probably 30 years ago, it would make sense to market to people in their 60s and 70s about bingo that was going on at the local wherever down in town, right, or around town. Today, I'm not so sure that that could happen. You can't market bingo to 60 and 70-year-olds today because they're out actually doing stuff and, well, frankly, not doing bingo. So that's what I'm talking about with things like that changing. Also, a little story. Several years back, a friend of mine got me and some other friends of ours to go to bingo a few times. I even had a dauber. Yeah, that's right. Here's what you don't do when you're messing with those much older people. You do not call a bad bingo. For the love of whatever's holy out there, I've never dodged so many walkers in all my life. I'm kidding. They couldn't pick up the walkers to throw at me. No, that they couldn't do that. I did have to briskly walk out of there though, because they were really ticked off. Yeah. So anywho, that was demographics. All right, now for the third and final one, and probably the one that you guys have heard of the least, that would be psychographics. Now, psychographics, the big pro with them is that regardless of age or income level or gender or religion or race or any of that stuff, regardless of all of that, interests and values transcend that stuff. So you're always going to have somebody, regardless of any of that, who shares the same interests and values that you do. That's why I think that psychographics are so huge. Now, a big con of psychographics is that it's a lot harder to map that out when you're using different marketing platforms online. So Facebook tries, they have a little interests area, but I find a lot of that is really general. So it gets a little tricky to really pull it off. Fortunately, I have the solution. And next, I'll talk a little bit about working these three together, as well as, well, the fact that you probably already got psychographics dialed in if you're watching a lot of these videos and listening to me. Now, I said that psychographics were already built in if you've been listening to me, and that's because if you're branding around yourself as an individual, then you've already got your interests and your values all over your website, all over your marketing materials. So the psychographics are built in, you're locked in, you're golden. Well played, way to do what you need to do to be successful. I'm so proud. Now that's not to discount geographics and demographics, as long as you remember that geographics are basically a shotgun approach. Think of them kind of like the cleanup hitter in baseball. Once everybody's already there, now you're just gonna hit it to knock a few in just to pick up whatever's left. And then demographics, remember that it's always a moving target. And even think of the bingo thing. What worked for 60 and 70-year-olds 30 years ago doesn't work for 60 and 70-year-olds today. Things change. People change. Things evolve. So the way to play here is, like I say, your brand is set, you've got your psychographics, good on you. So now let's say you want to play and try and figure out who your target market is. You're going to get on a platform like Facebook. If you've got $5, $10, $20, whatever, set a few ads out, build some of those, and you'll play with the demographic and geographic settings, even with the interest settings on Facebook. Nobody's going to go into marketing right away. Even the big marketing firms, they're not going to be able to go in right away and say to you, this is your target market. Now, they might have clients similar to you and think, we can just insert that target market into here, and they might be right, but they also could very well be wrong. So marketing a lot of times is just playing until you hit it. So you're going to play with the demographics, you're going to play with the geographics, and you're just going to play with different groups of people until you think you've found the biggest return on your investment. It's just how it works. You can't do marketing for free all the time and hope that it's going to pay off. You are going to have to put some skin in the game. It sucks, believe me, I know, but it's worth it. I promise you. So there you go, as far as how you work demographics, geographics, and psychographics all together. I think that's about it for this section. And now, sadly, we've come to the end of the video. So what I want to know from you is if you've tried any digital advertising before. Has it worked for you? Has it not worked for you? Are you going to take some of this information from the video and see if you can make it work for you? See if you can improve what you're already killing it at? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, even dislike, because hey, it's all engagement. Follow, share, subscribe, do all the things. And of course, if you're looking for help on how to brand your own business, on how to make it happen for yourself, check out Mayniax Branding on patreon.com. And well, I think that's about it for the pitch. So I hope everybody's having fun. Hope you're all staying healthy, staying happy, staying safe, and of course, I hope you're staying gutsy, gang.